Hello, and thank you for joining me here today. My name is Walter Beede, aka Coach Beede. And for the last several years, I have been doing videos and talking to college coaches and college professional student athletes, largely about the topic of the sport of baseball. For over 40 years, I have been involved at the higher levels of baseball as a player, as a student athlete, as a high school coach, a Legion head coach, an NCAA college coach. I have raised two sons from Little League, and then one of my sons is a major league athlete. Both played at the collegiate level. One at a JUCO and NAIA program, and the other at a SEC NCAA Division I level. And the sport of baseball has taught not only my sons, but myself personally, so many valuable lessons that carry forward in life. And I think it's really important to kind of take a time out, so to speak, with talking about recruiting and skill set and strength training, and talk about what the sport of baseball has taught me as well as my sons that have helped us as adults and now obviously as parents and business folks with regard to being an employee or an employer. And I'd like to start with these five lessons, in my opinion, transcend athletics. They really cover every aspect and dynamic of life. And I think it's important when we are looking into whether it's a team, a prospective college, we really want to take a deeper dive to the mentors that we are putting into our student athletes' lives. The first, and probably what I consider to be a very valuable lesson that the sport of baseball taught me, and I want you to understand, my parents passed away when I was very young. My mom when I was 6, my father when I was 16. And literally, I lived on my own in an apartment as a junior in high school. The sport of baseball taught me how to communicate. We didn't have emails or text messages. We had to call. I had to get on the phone and call college coaches. I had to speak with and engage both in person as well as on the phone with college coaches, with my high school teachers. And the sport of baseball teaches you how to communicate in such a way. Okay, what is your skill sets like? What is your mindset like? What type of mental toughness? What type of time management skills? Do you dream? What do you envision? Are you really thinking a forward thinker? But communication, both the old-fashioned way, where I'd have to write letters, and albeit in cursive. I know that's not a topic we discuss, but meaning I had to convey my thoughts, feelings, dreams, emotions to a prospective coach or coaching staff. Ultimately, I had to do that with regard to professional baseball and the major league draft. And so communication plays an integral part of the sport of baseball, communicating with your teammates, communicating with coaches, both verbal communication, signals as a catcher, being on the same wavelength, learning how to communicate and listen as well as talk. I have to listen to my teammates. I have to listen to my coaches. And then I have to be able to implement that coaching, that instruction, and then in turn, kind of take that and apply that not only to physical skill sets, but as well as communication. I think that's an integral part of baseball. Number four is adaptability or versatility. The sport of baseball, you have to pivot in the moment. Sometimes you can't predetermine how a play is going to happen or what situation is going to occur. So in your mind, you have to plan and kind of think, okay, if that ball's hit to me, with the current situation, runner on third, less than 2 outs. I have to try and keep that runner from scoring, or I have to keep the runner on first from advancing to third. You have to visualize and prepare, and you have to adapt. You have to be versatile. You have to be able to pivot in the moment. So, the sport of baseball, something we don't talk a lot about, but being versatile and being able to adapt to a different environment, weather conditions, team construction, meaning the culture within the team, being able to adapt and understanding that things can change in a heartbeat. Really an important life skill, because one never knows. In the today it can be sunny and absolutely comfortable. Tomorrow we could be in for a major weather event, or a cultural event. And in today's world especially, we have to have that adaptability and that versatility to be able to move forward regardless of the conditions that are present today or potentially tomorrow. The next, and number three, with regard to lessons taught through the sport of baseball, is really problem solving. We don't really understand. As a catcher, I'd have to walk out to the mound, and the pitcher could be upset at our shortstop because the shortstop made an error. And instead of a double play, we now have runners on first and second with nobody out. Okay, that's our situation. We have to figure out, okay, we have to deal with the reality, and we have to create a plan of attack. Now we have to be present. So that problem solving dynamic, somebody might be feeling under the weather today. Somebody might have a pulled muscle. We have to have that problem solving capability. Okay, we're down by 2 runs. It's the bottom of the seventh or the bottom of the ninth inning. What do we need to do in order to either A, tie the game, or B, win the game? And the problem solving component, personality, skill set management, time management. How do I make sure I get my 10 hours, 8 hours of sleep? Problem solving is a big part of becoming a prepared baseball player for beyond high school. We start to think about only 10% of high school athletes will play beyond high school. And we never really talk a lot about the problem solving mechanisms that baseball teaches us and that we apply into life beyond high school and beyond college, obviously. The next, number two, what I consider to be the most pivotal part of the lessons that baseball teaches, is teamwork. The we is greater than the me. Being able to celebrate others' successes within our team is for the betterment of the culture within a team environment, whether that's at a workplace, a family. Think about this. I have 2 children, and it's a competitive space with our children, right? My oldest son is competing with the younger son. The younger son's competing with my older son, to prove that he can compete with the older boys. And so teamwork is something that we hear a lot of. We hear a lot about the we and team, first mindset. We hear a lot of college coaches that talk to us about the culture that they try to create. And teamwork is more than just a term, it's something that you have to live every day, thinking about the betterment of the many as opposed to the individual. Being able to survive, understand, and excel in the role that is best served for the betterment of all as opposed to the betterment of an individual. We hear the term teamwork, but we don't necessarily understand the value that it presents, recognizing every single part of your team's strengths, weaknesses, how to overcome the weaknesses, and how to grow together as opposed to trying to grow as an individual and be oblivious or blind to those around you. Because baseball is not a one-on-one game. It is 9-on-1 with regard to the defense versus the offense. And you have to be a forward thinker, thinking about, okay, the guy behind me is a power bat. I am a singles hitter. I have to get on base, find a way to get on base so the guy behind me can drive me in or hit a home run, and the team grows based on my understanding of my role within the teamwork or the network within my team. The number one biggest life lesson, that I think parents and student athletes really need to take a deeper understanding and become reflective on this topic. Number one life lesson, not only for myself, but my children, my sons: resiliency, persistency, resilience. When I was a child, I lived in an inner city environment, and my parents had passed away. I really didn't have a lot of family close by. The sport of baseball really taught me that if anything I wanted to have in my life, I had to be resilient. I couldn't live in the past. If I was 0 for 4 or 4 for 4, that wasn't going to help me today. And anything I did today, I was going to take and learn from to help me be better tomorrow. To not really wallow in what has occurred and not get lost in the dreams of what I would like to have happen or might happen, but to be resilient and persistent in my today, to try and take the life lesson and bounce back. We hear these terms, bouncing back, taking it on the chin, resiliency in life. As a parent, your child is disappointed, didn't get into the school that they would like to get into, school of choice. They got to be resilient. I got to move forward. I got to be persistent. I have to continue to move forward. I'm 0 for 4. I struck out 3 times. Here's a great story. My last game as a high school student athlete, this is a fact, not one iota of embellishment. I had about 30 scouts behind the backstop. It was my last high school game. And I knew that in the end of May, that the draft was in early June, and that this game that I was having would probably have some determination of if or where I would be drafted within the major league draft. This is 1981. My first at bat, I hit into a triple play, and then subsequently struck out the next 3 times. 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts and a triple play. Yikes. The worst of all hopeful outcomes. But yet, that next day I was invited to a tryout, a workout, and I had to put yesterday behind me and focus on, okay, I'm not going to doom and gloom. I'm going to be present today. And resiliency is an integral part of all of our lives as adults and all of our lives as student athletes. And it's important to understand that this life lesson will carry us regardless of whether we're a student at the collegiate level, whether we are a partner, a spouse, a parent, an employee, or an employer. Having the will, the mental toughness, the mental discipline to get back up, get in the box, and compete in the moment. These are the types of life lessons that I speak to, often. I talk to college coaches. I talk a lot about my children, my sons, and their experience within the college process. I've worked with student athletes at all facets, the high school level, the youth level, the postgraduate levels, college, and even professional baseball. I take the time. 90% of the parents that I interact with, all you need is a phone call. I encourage you as a parent, if you're looking to find your way, if you're looking to kind of gain some insight, all it might take is a 1-hour call. And you can click that, and I'm happy to schedule that with you with the Calendly app. If this is something that you'd like to take a deeper dive and kind of explore a little bit deeper, I hope that you will at least subscribe to the channel, consider becoming a member. $4.99, $9.99. I'm providing you access to the college coaches, keeping you up to date on all the legislation. But I encourage you to please comment down below, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and if you have a question, find your way to the Calendly app. I appreciate you taking the time and I look forward to helping you with various topics throughout youth sports, particularly baseball, in the coming months.